Hi, I'm David Yavornitzky. I'm the principal bassist in the Utah Symphony. I think that people are drawn to instruments not necessarily by conscious choice so much. It's kind of like, I have no real good explanation in words. I was just always drawn to the sound of the bass. Kind of like how the wand chooses the wizard or something. I think the bass may have chosen me more than me choosing the bass. So I got started playing the bass when I was young, when I was 9, actually. However, the town I grew up in didn't really have a bass teacher in the public schools, so I was primarily self-taught all the way through high school. I ended up playing in dance bands, jazz bands, all kinds of. My parents had a semi-professional singing group, a little SATB singing group, and I just played for them. I improvised all my own parts as a kid. I was sort of a sideshow for them, I think. But finally, when I was in high school, I started taking lessons. I was fortunate enough, actually, to win a local scholarship to take lessons from someone from the Cleveland Orchestra, and that really sort of changed my direction on the instrument, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to have that opportunity. The double bass is, well, it's the largest and the lowest member of the string section. The technical term is the double bass violin, so it's the largest member of the string or violin family. As such, it provides the foundational sound of the whole string section. And we also, and especially with music that goes past into the Romantic era, we often play with the other lower instruments in the orchestra, the lower wood ones like the bassoon, and lower brass like the trombones and tuba. So we provide most often foundational harmony and really the center of pitch and often the rhythmic drive that goes with a lot of the music. Because I got such a late start, even though I was fortunate enough to get some high quality lessons in high school, I did get a late start. So my other love was science. So I went to school my major was theoretical physics. And so I went through a whole year as a physics major in college. But I still took lessons, and I played in the university orchestra. And once again, it was nothing specific. I just gravitated to music more. And I think I just sort of had an epiphany one day, and I said, this is what I really love to do. And I ended up, however, continuing my physics degree, and so I did the 2 degrees simultaneously. I graduated twice because I got a Bachelor of Science in Physics first, and then the subsequent year I got my Bachelor of Musical Performance in the double bass. I own 2 basses. This is my nice bass. This is kind of my baby. This is an old Italian bass from the 18th century, made in Venice. I feel very, very fortunate to have found it. I have another bass. It's a modern German instrument that's a copy of an Italian bass that I had actually made for me about 20 years ago. The bass is a very large instrument, and it requires not just accuracy, but it requires a great deal of physical strength and a lot of just large aerobic activity in order to play. So it's a very tiring instrument to play, physically. So in that sense, I don't know if it's constraining, but it's physically a very demanding instrument. Part of what we call the overtones that occur naturally over the top of a given note. On stringed instruments, harmonics are really easy to see. They occur on all different instruments, but harmonics are easy to see. For example, when I play just a basic fundamental note, ringing simultaneously with all this are overtones. And if we're very clever by dampening the string in select places, we can isolate each one of these harmonics that occur above this pitch, like this. Pizzicato is when string players pluck the strings instead of using the bow. And on the bass especially, bass kind of serves a dual purpose in music because a lot of people identify the double bass, especially playing pizzicato, with jazz music. And you have to kind of have a different technique when you're playing jazz pizzicato as opposed to classical music pizzicato. Instead of a purer sound, in jazz you want the sound to be just a little thumpier and more rhythmic. Other examples of pizzicato that are dramatic and especially effective on the double bass are what we call snap pizzicato, or sometimes we call them Bartok pizzicato. They sound like. The symphony orchestra really is kind of the bread and butter, especially for a double bassist. The other stringed instruments have more variety of chamber music, for example. There are string quartets and stuff like that to play. But for a bassist, really the great wealth of our repertoire is actually the orchestra music. So of course, I love playing in the orchestra. I love the whole gamut of composers, all 350 years of composers that we play. And this orchestra in particular, it's one of the major symphonies in the country, so we play, it's really fulfilling to play this great music at a really high level and to be able to work with some great international artists as well. At the beginning of the fourth movement of the Ninth Symphony, Beethoven had a truly inspired moment. He decided to give the basses and cellos music that he called a recitativo. Now, recitativo is normally associated with singing. It's in opera or an oratorio, the singers will tell a story or give a lot of dialogue singing a recitativo. Well, he gave the recitativo without words to the bass and cello section. And I'd like to play the first and the very last phrase of this.